Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Stephen here on Saturday the 30th of August, the day before Manchester City's trip to the seaside. We got the Seagulls tomorrow, Brighton away at 2 p.m. in the Premier League. Another big game and another match preview, the third game of the season, and a chance to right some of the wrongs from the Tottenham Hotspur debacle. Fingers crossed we will do as well.
Good
that was
morning, good
it wasn't the best
evening,
game of
wherever you
football.
are.
What's going
Stephen
on?
here
Saturday the 30th of August, the day before Manchester City's trip to the seaside.
Oh, there we go.
We got
Sorry,
the
overlapping. There we go.
I've stopped that now. It was playing back out loud on my computer. As I was saying, a chance to fix the wrongs from the Spurs game because it was a very frustrating match. The dust has settled on it a little bit calmer for me than it did previously. But still, it was a painful loss. This game, of course, Brighton, they're a good side. We know all about Brighton. They've been pilfered an awful lot over the years from some of the best talents, but they're still a side with an awful lot of quality that we have to take seriously. So today I'll go through the press conference quotes, the team news, predict the 11, talk about Brighton, and of course try and predict the game at the end of this video. Don't forget, if you want to help support the channel, do me a massive favour, give the video a like. It's not hard, look, just a like. That's my thumb focus there. And subscribe if you are new as well. The notification bell so you get a notification every single time that we go live. No one wants double Stephen and Marcus. I want double Stephen sometimes to get through all the live stuff because I'm very tired today. Still a little bit poorly. So I'll go to the overview of this game. So of course we go into this off the back of a comfortable victory against Wolves and then a disappointing defeat against Spurs, as we all know. Still very much trying to find our form, trying to find our rhythm. The new signings trying to find their footing in this Manchester City side. And expectations are sort of muddled. A lot of negativity still persists from last season. Some people are more positive. The window, of course, is still open until Monday, the transfer window. There's still noise around Ederson's future, around Donnarumma. I think it's gone quiet on Savinho now. It seems like that's pretty much done. He's going to stay at Manchester City. But you never know. There could be some outgoings or incomings potentially by Monday. But I think the squad that we've got right now is reasonably settled, and I think Ederson is going to be available for this game. We'll get on to whether he starts or not later, but I think Savinho and Ederson, I expect them to be involved in this as they turn their eyes towards this fixture. Maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe it's still up in the air with Ederson. We'll see. We'll go to Guardiola's press conference quotes as always because there's lots to talk about. He was early for his press conference. He talked about James Trafford. He said, "Always I have my arms around their shoulders. We take care of them. It's impossible for it to be better. What happened versus Tottenham doesn't belong to just James. It's not easy to say, but of course he's a strong man with a huge personality." Yeah, he had made that mistake. It's normal. It's very normal to make mistakes, and I feel like we need to not let him die on that sword because it's going to happen. It's going to happen that mistakes are made. As you can see there by 8-0, we'll talk about that in a bit, but it looks like he's available. Guardiola was talking about Brighton. He said they're a really good team. They proved it last season, the previous ones. Since a long, long time, it's a really good side. Yep. Guardiola will make a decision tomorrow or today on the press conference. On the press conference of the goalkeeping decision. And he was asked why he doesn't know now. He says because I don't have a press conference tomorrow. I.e., got one more training session and we'll decide then. He also said about the season. He said, "I have the feeling we'll do a good season. I know people maybe don't believe it, but." And he stopped there. But Guardiola's feeling confident. If he's feeling confident, I'm feeling confident. Like Guardiola reassures me. I trust that his confidence is well placed, and that he trusts in his squad and his side. He was asked about Rodri being called up to the Spain squad. He said, "No, I never spoke to the manager of Spain." Essentially, I'll summarise that. He's happy for him to go if he feels like he needs the minutes and he'll be sensible, which is true. You can't stop players going internationally. I saw a lot of people moaning about John Stones yesterday, and it's sort of, look, if players are, they have the right to play for the international side. It's frustrating, yes, but we can't stop them. We can't stop them going to play for the national side, unfortunately. We just can't do that. And while they're fit, they have every right to do that. They want to play at the World Cup. John Stones wants to play at the World Cup next year. Because why wouldn't he? It's probably his last chance to try and win the thing, so of course he wants to. I don't blame him whatsoever for accepting the call-up. He was asked about Savinho. Guardiola said, "Monday is the finish of the transfer window. The next press conference, you can ask me about that. Don't ask me about rumours, potential rivals, or potential flights, so next week." Yeah. He said he's happy with the squad. He was asked about the reunion. He said it'd be great to see De Bruyne and Sane. On that note, by the way, I think the fixtures have come out here, haven't they, of the actual dates. So there we go. It's going to be a brutal 8 days. You've got United, Napoli, and Arsenal. So there's the actual run of fixtures, by the way. Napoli is our first one. De Bruyne returns is the first one, the Thursday, the 18th. We've got Arsenal 3 days later on the Sunday, which is ridiculous. So it's at home, thankfully, but 3 days later, Arsenal play on the Tuesday, which is an absolute scam. It's an absolute scam, that. Then we got Monaco, Villarreal, Dortmund, Leverkusen, Madrid. So we got 2 home games against the German sides back-to-back there. Madrid, Bodo Glimt away, and then Galatasaray at home. Hopefully enough at home to secure we've got Kevin first, then Leroy last, basically. It was always going to be De Bruyne back first, wasn't it? I'm sorry. Anyone who thinks this isn't scripted is absolutely, absurdly naive. Of course De Bruyne was coming back. Of course he was going to be the first. It was going to be at the Etihad, and it was going to be the first game. It's so blatantly scripted. Like, you don't have to care, but it is, obviously. And, like, there's a good chance that, Ederson will be with Galatasaray maybe coming back to us on the last game of the group stages. It's how it's going to be, isn't it? Richie, what are you basing that on, mate? I haven't seen that news anywhere. Rodrigo, by the way, is not happening. There's no chance, by the way, chat. No chance. Back to the press conference quotes anyway, from Guardiola yesterday. Let me find it. A bit rough today, sorry guys. The illness is caught up to me. He was asked about Savinho. Is he expected to return after the international break following injury? Guardiola said, I hope so, yeah. Maybe Savinho isn't going to be involved in this game then. I don't know, we'll see. He was asked about if he has a clear number 1 goalkeeper in mind. He said, in this part of the season, before the international break, and until the transfer window is closed, everything is possible. Simple as that. After that, we're going to play United and the Champions League and Arsenal. After everything will be more clear, I'll take a decision. Depends on performance and many reasons. That, to me, sounds like a man who's waiting to see if it's going to be Ederson, Donnarumma, or Trafford, blah, 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 blah. It sounds to me like there's a lot going on there. Is that actually a thing, Lee Williams, by the way, about Fabrizio with Donnarumma? Let me check. No, that's not breaking news, mate. That's you've made that up, haven't you, Lee? Damn you, Lee. But yeah, it sounds to me like Guardiola is keeping the door open for whoever's going to be number 1. Obviously, he's got Donnarumma in mind, clearly. But I like to think he's not closing the door on Trafford as well there. But we'll see. I think Trafford's going to play tomorrow, by the way, but we'll get onto that in a bit. He was asked if he'd like clarity. He said, not just the keepers, the players. You have a long squad and all the players may be signings. People leave, but it is what it is. Transfer news that way. You have to accept it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, who wouldn't want clarity? Yes is the answer, but that's life. He went on a big rant here about the squad size. He said, it is what it is. I'm not a guy or manager that can play as much here about the squad. It never happened in Barca, Munich or here. It is what it is because I know the club is doing the best as possible in all terms, so not even when I'm losing a game. Like a typical reaction from a manager is blaming the players and so on. I've proved it for many years, and last season was the biggest example. I'm so proud of that because I know my players tried, and they tried desperately to do well. I've never met one player who goes on the pitch and wants to perform bad or do bad for his mates, so the club never ever. Sometimes I have to think what we have to do better, and as I said, because I don't like to have players at home, but the reality is players know it for a long time, and if it stays like we stay, I'll be more than pleased, and I'll handle it day by day. So Guardiola sort of saying that he's never going to complain too much, and he also never likes to blame his players for stuff. He said he's essentially saying he's proven over his years that he doesn't tend to blame his players for things, which is true. Guardiola doesn't. He said he trusts his players always want to win, but he also said at the same time, Guardiola's made it clear that, I don't want to leave players at home, but if they stay around, it's going to have to. I'll manage it day by day, but that's life. And he's right. He is right. That's basically the crux of it. Yeah, I mean, that is basically it in a nutshell. There's your winning team from training there, by the way. Ederson in goal, Nunes, Akanji, Stones, Nori, Rodri, O'Reilly, Reinders, good midfield, that, Mikasa, Bob and Marmouche. There's your winning team from there. Let's go to the team news anyway. The actual team news. I'm feeling rough today. Oof. So Nori's back. Guardiola confirmed that he's available for tomorrow. He's fine. Now, the breaking news early, unfortunately, is that CHERKI is unavailable. Where's it gone? There we go. This comes from this fella. Loic Tanzi is a journalist for L'Equipe, clearly close to the player. Ryan CHERKI's ruled out City's trip to Brighton this weekend with a thigh injury. That's a massive blow, of course. The creativity, the joy that he brings. We get Nori back and we lose CHERKI. It's obviously a massive blow. It's not the worst timing, I would argue. Right now, CHERKI is a cracking player, but I think he probably would have been on the bench for this anyway. Like to me, I would have been amazed if CHERKI started this away at Brighton. I think most people would probably agree. I think he would have gone for a more experienced midfield. I think Foden's got a chance of playing this for what it's worth. But I expect it will be. We'll get on to that in a minute, but I expect it would have been a bench job anyway, because I think Reinders will get the job forward, and I think Nico and Bernardo probably. Who knows? Rodri might get more minutes potentially, but we'll see on that front. Thanks for the super chat, my mates. Where's it gone? There we go, from MCFC, who says, "Steve's window's doing my head in. We have to rely on Fabrizio to update us because our journalists don't get scoops anymore. What do you think happens?" What about the journalists or in general? No, I don't think. I think the only thing that happens at this point now is Donnarumma or Ederson. That's it. A small part of me thinks it's 50-50 now. I don't think it's nailed on. It felt nailed on, but it's getting so late that I'm expecting an exclusive deal collapsed. Donnarumma set to stay at PSG for 6 months as clubs couldn't reach agreement with Galatasaray for Ederson transfer. I'm expecting something like that to pop up at any moment. Ederson said to be happy to commit to his future for Manchester. You know what I mean? I might be wrong there, but I feel that's got to kick in at any point. I might be wrong, but we will see. It could be that last minute the deal is done. But Galatasaray don't seem very serious. They're playing some game that I don't think they can actually compete in. So we'll see on that front, mate. Thanks for the super chat. Let's go into the predicted 11. Let me bring up a lineup builder. But that's what I think is going to happen. Yeah, I think it'll be something. I think Donnarumma is still likely, but I don't think it's nailed on. It felt nailed on at one point, but it's getting very, very late, isn't it? Very late in it. So let's go to the predicted 11 anyway. I think Trafford's going to start this. I think it's almost certain, if I'm being honest. There's too much noise around Ederson still. He might be on the bench, Ederson, but James Trafford is clearly going to start. I expect Aït-Nouri will be immediately back into the City left-back role. Given the fact that there's no Vardy, I can still see Diaz playing. Here's a shout. You don't have to believe it. Kusanov gets the start. A random guess. Kusanov gets a start. Stones is left on the bench. No, it's not going to happen. Stones is starting again, isn't he? Stones is going to start again because it's 1 game a week at the moment. Thigh injury, Loco. He's had a thigh injury. We don't know how serious it is. I don't think it's anything major. Nunes, I think, is definitely starting this game. I don't say definitely, but I'm not sure. Not sure why he wouldn't with his pace. Haaland, I think, is clearly starting up front. I think Stones is going to start. Oscar Bobby's nailed on for the right-hand side, I think, right now. Reinders is nailed on. Nico G is nailed on as well. It leaves these bits here. This side, I still think it's going to be Marmoush for what it's worth. Could be Doku. Maybe some Marmoush. And then I don't think Ederson starts when there's still noise around the future. I think it's going to be Bernardo, to be honest. I think we're going to see this. I know Bernardo had a stinker when he came on the other day, but he was also good against Wolves, so Bernardo will have to be better. Bob has been so involved in every aspect. That's what I think is going to see, what we think we're going to see. We could also see Phil back in the side. Phil might get a start, ahead of Nico and Reinders. It could be Phil comes back into the side. Rodri's not available. I don't think Rodri's going to start anytime soon, mate. I would love Kusanov to start, absolutely. I just don't think we need him to. I don't think Guardiola wants him to right now. We do need him to, absolutely, but I think it's going to be something like that, personally. Yeah. Bernardo on the right. Bernardo's not going to be playing on the right anytime soon, I don't think. We'll see. It's going to be something like that. Let's go on to Brighton anyway. Because Brighton's will be interesting. So let's go to talk about Brighton, see what they've been up to. So Brighton have started the season in relatively average form. They did spank Oxford United 6-0 the other night in the Carabao Cup. Bunch of players I've never heard of. Boscagli, Gruder, Gomez, Shimzas and Watson. Genuinely names I've never heard of. Scored a bunch of goals for them away, and they were good. They've had an indifferent start to the league, though. They lost 2-0 the other day to Jack Grealish's Everton. Jack Grealish inspired them with a couple of assists there. Of course he did. away at home, and they were looked a bit toothless going forward at Brighton. This is how they lined up that day. Welbeck through the middle. O'Reilly, Minty, Matoma, Ayari, and Balaba in midfield. De Cooper, Dunk, Van Heck, and Vifa right back with a Bruggen in goal. Sorry, I'm just a bit rough down today. I'm struggling. Of course, they've lost a lot of quality. The Chelsea is just pilfering all their average players, you would argue. But then they got their striker, João Pedro. João Pedro will probably do well at Chelsea, but Welbeck's a good player, but they're definitely going to miss the quality of João Pedro, who's a better striker than Danny Welbeck. They've got some experience, of course, on the bench as well, with Milner still there going, and Veltman, of course, Hinchelwood, Kruder. They're missing a couple of players as well, aren't they, Brighton? Who's it out available? They've got... Oh, yeah, it's Adam Webster and Solly March aren't available. And Cece, of course, has gone to Chelsea or by Strasbourg or whatever. That's actually happened. And Buonanotte gone there as well. All very crazy. Yeah, it was disappointing there. They did draw against Fulham in the first game of the season, at home as well. O'Reilly with their goal. Pretty much the team that you're seeing there is going to be probably the one that starts. Maybe Rutter might get a start ahead of Welbeck, but the rest of it is almost nailed on. Ayari, Balaba, Minty, O'Reilly, Matoma. You know how Chelsea, they're not going to play Brighton. They're a very good side. They pass the ball nicely. They're aggressive. The pace of Minty, Matoma out wide is a relentless threat. Balaba and Ayari is a powerful midfield. They're a very good side. We've got to take them seriously. I think City are better playing away. I'll go to predictions now. I think City are smarter away from home these days. I think the way that we play, a little bit more aggressive on the counter, helps us. And I suspect the two teams are going to play in a very similar style. Presuming we spent this week fixing the problems of the Spurs game, which I'm sure we will do. I think Trafford getting the nod again, which I think he will be really good for his confidence. I think if he was dropped straight away, it'd be a massive shot across the brows for him. But I think Guardiola will play him, and it'll help him feel sort of imbued a little bit and more confident about his status at Manchester City. And I think he'll have a better game. I'm hoping the pace of Núñez out wide helps us defensively on the transition, because we're going to need that. I expect with Oscar Bob cutting inwards, Núñez overlapping would be really, really nice. I wouldn't mind Sevilla back in the squad, by the way. I think that'd be really nice, but I don't think that's going to happen. We just have to be better at dealing with the press. I don't know if Brighton are going to press as aggressively, as smartly as Thomas Frank's Spurs, because they were fantastic at that. They'll definitely try it, and they definitely will be good at it, but they were really good at it. I hope that, you know, a week of getting our shape better will help us there, and maybe we do see Kusanov in that, because the pace of Matoma out wide, that would be really useful. It's so many problems. Just do it, Guardiola. Drop one of Diaz or Stones and play Kusanov. He's essential, but he's not going to do it. Nori back in the side as well will help us. I think he really helps our technical build-up. We did miss him when he went off the pitch, in my opinion, because he's so smart on the ball. So him back in the side, I think Nico Gonzalez is going from strength to strength at the moment. Reinders, surely, you know, he had a poor game the other day, but yeah, better hopefully in this one. I think Marmoush is a good chance of him starting. You know, he's obviously doing really well in training right now, Marmoush. I think he'll probably like this role where he can drift more central with Nori overlapping. He can't really do that when Ake's playing left back, so I think he lost a lot of his momentum there, Marmoush. But with Nori getting forward, I think Marmoush could drift closer to Haaland. Haaland's had a decent start in the first game. Didn't have much to go on against Spurs, but we'll see. I think we will win this. I think it's going to be close, but I'm going to 2-1 Man City. We'll see how it goes, but I go for an Oscar Bob goal, actually. I got a feeling he'll score. Let me know your predictions. Of course, I'll be live for Watch Along tomorrow here on YouTube, actually. And I'll see you there tomorrow. For now, I'm going to leave the video here because I'm feeling very run down. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Bye-bye, guys. Up the Blues. Catch you tomorrow for the Watch Along. Come on, you Blues.